Alright, I needed to level up my team for this hardcore Emerald Nuzlocke run, so I figured while I was doing that I would just talk about 10 things that might help improve your Nuzlocke experience overall. So jumping right into it, the first one would be playing on set mode, and you probably already know this, but you either do set mode or I believe it's shift mode, and that literally just changes everything, because if you're playing on shift mode, it's gonna pop up and be like, hey, they're about to swap Pokemon, do you want to swap? And it just gives you that free switch, and you can literally just counter every Pokemon that they throw out, and it, instead of having to choose and really get put in this position of they get a free move on you, now you always have a free move on them, and it makes it so easy. It really does. And there's like no counterplay to it. There's no next level outplay. And you honestly just don't get put into many positions where you have to sacrifice one of your Pokemon or get put into a position that you really have to think about and maneuver your way around. So I just highly recommend playing on set mode. It really makes it challenging and puts you into a lot of positions where you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I'm going to be able to win this or make it out. And it just adds that extra challenge that makes the game so much more enjoyable, and it makes it a lot more rewarding if and when you can get out of that situation. So I would play on set mode. Second thing is level up all of your Pokemon, not just your favorite ones. And I think this is huge, because the first couple times I did a Nuzlocke, I would have like 2 or 3, my starter, and then another one. Like I did a normal Emerald run through, and I just had like Blaziken, Walrein, and I think Wailord. Like just 3 Pokemon basically, and I just beat the Elite Four with those 3, and then I had like 3 underleveled Pokemon that were just chilling and hanging out. And it just, again, going back to that easy versus challenging, it was so simple and so easy that I really, looking back, didn't have a lot of fun, really didn't enjoy it, and was lacking that challenge and really didn't have to think about anything, because I'm pretty sure all 3 of those were over leveled, so I wasn't doing a level cap there either, which is something we can talk about. But like, just to have all 6, so like for instance, I'm about to play the 5th gym, so the level cap is 31 for Norman, and so you want to have all 6. Now whether you like or care about them, that's up for debate, but if all 6 of them are 31, you're going to have so much variety, so many different ways to approach it. And if you get into a tough bind to where you have to sacrifice, you might be able to buy more than one turn, and you won't just throw out a level 17 coughing that'll instantly get killed. You'll have a lot more options and a lot more pivot opportunities, and just a lot more avenues you can take the fight. And you'll also increase your chances of winning. Like if you only have 3 level 31s, say something really bad happens to 1 or 2 of them, then you're stuck with 1 level 31 and then a bunch of expendable baddies. You really want to maximize your opportunities here. So having all of these at level 31, regardless if you even end up using 1 or 2 of them, it's just going to help, and it's just going to make it more enjoyable, and again, add the different avenues of attack that you can do. So that's that point. So next point would be take it easy on the speed button. As you've seen this whole time, I have just been mashing the speed button to make it. Now when you're leveling up and grinding, you just go ham with it, just free feed. But when you're in the gym or maybe rival battles, or honestly any trainer battles, I would take it easy on the clutch and just slow it down, just slow it down and really engage with the battle and be there, and not just speed through it. And that way you can learn a lot too. You're not just mindlessly going through it, and I think that'll be a lot more enjoyable as well. So take it easy on the speed button, especially when it's trainer battles, rival battles, gym battles, and especially the Elite Four. Next point is don't get too comfortable. So if you are playing with a level cap and you're playing on set mode, and especially if you're playing no items, I would just, really pay attention. Because it only takes one. I literally was just at the 5th gym trying to beat the trainers to get to the gym leader, and he threw out a Wigglytuff that used double edge, and it one-shot my Machoke. Which I was going to use the Machoke to really give Norman a run for his money, because I don't know if I could have swept him with it, but man, the fighting against Normal would have been so clutch, and now he's dead, and I don't have him for the gym, and it's just going to be that much harder. So I definitely got a little too comfortable, and I thought Machoke could handle the Wigglytuff and didn't realize that it was going to double edge one-shot me. So there's a whole lot to digest there, but basically just pay attention, and if you haven't lost a Pokemon in like a couple hours or a couple of gyms, that's fantastic. Take that win and run with it. Don't let that go to your head. Don't get too overconfident with it. Just be humble. Just know that, hey, this run is going really well. Let's keep it that way. Let's not lose somebody that could be useful, especially if you have a Pokemon that you see going to the Elite Four later on, someone that could be huge for that. Just be extra careful and don't take too many unnecessary risks. And then also don't underestimate the Wigglytuff or the Whismur. Just take each battle with a grain of salt and kind of meet them where they're at. So just watch out for that. Don't get too comfortable. So I just mentioned this previously, no items in battle. So I won like 7 or 8 Nuzlockes, and a lot of those I had over-leveled like by 4 or 5 levels. My highest Pokemon would be like 4 or 5 levels ahead of the gym leader's highest Pokemon, and it just makes it so easy to win that battle. Like, you don't even have to have a lot of skill. Like, you're higher in level, so you'll probably always attack first, and you can eat a bunch. And then if you're using items, you can make 10 mistakes, just swap out, heal up, and run it back. So if you keep a consistent level cap of keeping your Pokemon under the highest, the gym leader's highest level, then it's just going to make it so fun that everyone is like the same level. And now you really have to use skill. You really got to get in there, use strategy to try and beat them. And then when you use no items, it's so funny because I just did a Leaf Green Nuzlocke hardcore, all of the hardcore rules, like no items, set mode, all that good stuff. And the Elite Four members, like, they get 2, 3, 4 full restores, and the gym leaders will have potions and stuff. But if you're not using items, it's so funny because then you'll hit them into the red, they'll use a full restore, and then you get angry at them for using the full restore on their Pokemon when, really, how many times have we played and we're just chugging like 10 full restores in one battle, and like, how fair is that? Like, we're sitting here making all these mistakes, the gym leader's playing all of this, all these strats, and then they still lose. Why? Just because we chugged items. And then the X attack, X defense, the X items are pretty broken as well. But mainly my point is with like the potions and especially full restores, like when you get paralyzed, you can just slap a full heal on that. But now if you're playing with no items, you really have to respect those Thunder Waves or Sleep Powders. Like, you really have to respect it and play around it and really strategize. And again, it comes to that point where you have to swap out, and you might be down to 2 Pokemon now because one's locked up in paralysis or now one's asleep, and you can't just easy fix it with a full restore. You have to play around it and use strategy. So I would highly recommend, again, playing on set mode and trying a Nuzlocke without using items. It makes it so much more challenging and so much more enjoyable when you pull out the dub at the end. Another one would be plan accordingly for gym battles. So like right now, I'm about to play Norman, who is all normal type. Now, he hits incredibly hard, and as I just mentioned, I lost my best point of attack, being Machoke, against Norman. So he was just going to get in there, mess him up with the fighting type, and just make it so much easier. Now I'm stuck with a bunch of Pokemon that don't have a bunch of super effective moves and that he can probably overpower pretty easily, and it's going to make it very interesting. So, I mean, I accept the challenge, and I'm going to enjoy the fact that it's going to be a lot harder to beat him now, but I'm also at a much higher risk of getting swept and having my entire run that I've poured hours into ended by my father in the game. So just something to keep in mind is when you know that it's going to be an electric gym, just try to have as many ground types at your disposal and try to minimize the amount of normal and water types that you bring in there so you don't run into that position, you know? So now sometimes you're going to have a bunch of first encounters and not end up. So like this run in particular that I'm playing right now, this Emerald Nuzlocke, for the first gym, it's all rock and ground type, and I literally did not get any grass or water types before that gym. So I just had a bunch of normal types and my starter going into that, and it was just a sacrificial slaughter. Like I lost 3 of them just to get to that nose pass and finally beat it, and thankfully my Combustion did clutch it at the end there. But like, oh my gosh, it was just ridiculous. It just made it so much more difficult. So if you have a grass or water against same thing with like Leaf Green, Fire Red, if you have Bulbasaur or Squirtle, like that is so easy to sweep Brock with his Onix and Geodude. But if you go in with Charmander and you're the same level as the Onix and Geodude, all you have is Metal Claw and a couple of Rock Tombs and you're dead. So it really, again, comes back to that strategy and using what's at your disposal. So if you come in with a grass or water type, this gym is so easy. If you don't, it's extremely hard and challenging. So you can accept that challenge and meet it head on, but you can also strategize against other gyms to make it just a lot easier on yourself. Because by the time you get to the Elite Four, you really want to have a bunch of options that you can choose from to pick the most optimal team. Because you don't want to go into the Elite Four, make it to the champion, and then just lose. That is just so brutal. So again, just setting yourself up for success with planning around battles, especially the gym battles. Next point is turn battle animations off when you're leveling up your team. So literally what you've been seeing this entire video with me just spamming here and leveling up my team here is you just turn off the battle animations, because look at the difference. So right here, battle scene, turn it on. Look what happens here. So, okay, Lombre comes out to use Absorb, and now you have this whole thing where, like, that doesn't seem like a lot, but when you do this 100 times, it's like, wow, this is taking forever. And then, I mean, even with that sped up, so that versus you just turn that off, and then it is just like you get leveled up so much quicker. And then I like to turn it back on for like gym battles in the Elite Four so you can really enjoy the whole experience. So I would just turn that off. It makes grinding so much easier, and it makes the Nuzlocke a lot more enjoyable in the long run because you're not spending your entire time sitting here grinding. So they're going to get to the levels a lot faster if you just turn that off. Next point is have plenty of Pokeballs on hand at all times. Okay, so especially if you're doing no items, then you have a lot more money to spend on Pokeballs. But I run into the scenario where I'm super excited for my next encounter. I want to get another Pokemon. I want to add them to the team. I'm hoping that it's something really good that I can use. And I will just, okay, let's run into this area, let's get in this grass, and you go to catch it and you're out of Pokeballs. So it's like, just get there, buy the Pokeballs, you know, have enough, and yeah, you can never have too many. You know, you can just sit there and spam all day. But another useful thing is when you do go to buy, okay, this one you can't buy Pokeballs at, but if you go to buy Pokeballs, and you can get 10 at a time, then I would recommend getting 10. And then if you can get 20, I would buy 10 twice, because when you buy 10 Pokeballs, it'll give you an extra Premier Ball. So it's like you're basically getting 11 Pokeballs. So just keep that in mind when you're buying Pokeballs. Always get 10 at a time, even if you can get 20 or 30. Just buy them separately so you can get 2 or 3 extra Premier Balls. So keep that in mind. 2 more points here. Don't risk the critical hit when you're catching Pokemon. So, you know, you come in here, especially like your first couple encounters where they're like level 3 to 5, just throw the Pokeball at it. Like, you're sitting here, for example, if I come in here to Whismur Cave and I'm like, okay, let's get the Whismur, let's get this encounter, I don't need to try to risk critting this. I just go straight to the Pokeball. Let's just catch it. Okay, he pops out. Okay, I have literally 20 balls. Just throw it until you catch it. It's just easier. It's just easier. So don't risk the crit. Get the encounter. You got this. Lastly, remember that critical hits ignore defensive buffs. Okay, so I was doing a Pokemon X Nuzlocke, and I was using, is it Golett, the Shadow Ground Golem Pokemon, and I kept doing this thing where I would spam Iron Defense and just max out his defense to where the enemy could not even really touch him. And then my rival threw out an Absol, which is super effective against him since he's Ghost and Absol uses Dark moves. But like my defense was so jacked, I wasn't even nervous. And he used Bite, which I assumed would barely take off any of my health bar. And it critical hit and went through the 6-time defensive buff. And I just completely forgot that fact. So basically, when you're using Calm Mind or Iron Defense or Bulk Up, anything that raises your defense, just keep in mind that if they have something that can hit you really hard, that don't let your guard down. Know that if it crits, it might kill you and that you still have to play around that. So if you're stuck in a position where you've buffed up your guy like 4 or 5 times, but they can potentially one-shot you with a crit, just keep that in mind. So you might want to swap out to something that's more beneficial in that fight than sit there and risk your buffed up Pokemon getting one-shot by a crit. So just keep that in mind. So guys, that's really it. There's just 10 ways to improve your Nuzlocke experience. You probably knew 8, 9, or all of them, but in case you didn't, I hope one of them can help you out. Yeah, have a good day.